Okay, for the final forms, they're also called Sofit. So it's either final cough or cough Sofit, final mem Sofit, so on and so forth. So for the cough, or the kof, however you want to say it, remember the tongue is like this. So what we're doing is kind of taking out this bottom piece and then extending it down. That's kind of the final form. You're just kind of taking off the bottom and putting it down. With the mem, our regular mem kind of had that hole kind of where that mailbox was, but the final mem, it's more closed off and boxed in, and it has a little tail. Now this sort of looks like the Samic, but the difference is with the mem Sofit, it's very boxy versus the Samic, which is very round. So that's kind of the difference. For final noon, again, it was kind of like that end bracket. So then you erase that and you bring it down. The difference between the final kof and the final noon, the kof has a more extended area here up top, whereas the noon, it's very small. Similar to the final fe, rather than kind of that, 9 or the backwards P, take that off, extend it down. Same with the sadi, rather than having this, take this off, and just bring it down. So those are the final forms. How these kind of originated there weren't really spaces or vowel points in ancient Hebrew. So a lot of times words ended in these letters. And so this gave you an indication that this was the ending of a word. And when you study Hebrew later on, there are basically 3-letter root words, or like 3 letters for their root derivatives for everything. And so sometimes if it was like, aleph mem mem, they would drop one of the mems, and that's how it was eventually the final form, because it was basically like 2 back to back. But anyway, that's all later. But basically know that the kof, mem, noon, fe, and sadi, the final forms are at the end of a word, never in the middle of the word or at the beginning, always at the end of a word. And you basically drop them down. So it's either final mem, final sadi, or noon sofit, sadi sofit, fe sofit, so on and so forth.